Bulldogs do bring some pressure. The ball is caught by Slade Bolden. First downs, did it 3 times in Atlanta. Young, and they get him to the ground finally. Big Jordan Davis, 350 pounds. The ball comes out. It's Dean running for the end zone.
All right, first play we'll break down is one I think Georgia got very unlucky with, to be honest. I think this is a fumble, even though the hand technically is going forward. Is he really throwing this ball? No, I mean, his eyes aren't even open. This is just simple sack avoidance. Is that a throw? A little, Sure.
On the edge, Jameson Williams gets a couple of blocks and tries to hurdle a defender. He couldn't get over Darian Kendrick. 2nd and 10, they bring pressure again. It's picked up, and Latu makes the catch. And the tight end muscles down near the marker. Christopher Smith stopped him about a yard short. 3rd and 1, pitch to Robinson, who bobbled it initially.
Yeah, this was, if you were to put some blame on somebody from Alabama in this game, it was Billingsley, who Nick wasn't the fondest of, as in Mr. Saban. Not a totally physical player, a really gifted wide receiver, but he was very patty cake, very soft as a player, and he almost blew this. This was a really well-designed play. That was a lousy block in a national championship game, but Brian Robinson's really good, and he's able to fall forward.
Young, pressure over the middle, and Nick.
God, Bryce was so good in this game.
It's a quick decision and finds Bolden for 9. So Georgia's big people have a chance to come back in the game on 2nd and 1. Sanders takes the pick.
Makes the check.
Here he comes. He escapes again. Makes a downfield throw, and it's broken up.
3rd and 5.
Yeah, so Bryce was so good in this game. I know the numbers don't show it, but he was asked to do so much versus maybe the best college football defense I've ever seen, and his receivers did not help him out. Once again, Billingsley, I think, could have made a better play on that last ball after Bryce made the number 1 overall pick miss. And right here, Bryce reads that he likes a one-on-one over here, and Billingsley slipped. All right, if he keeps his footing, this is an easy first down.
Zamir White, call him Zeus, in the backfield. They fake it to him. Bennett pressured on the rollout, and he's going to be sacked.
Those linebackers have to flow to make plays outside.
2nd and 11 across the middle. It's Williams making the catch.
As you can see, the first drive for Georgia was dead on arrival. 2nd and 11, and Bryce just does Bryce things, right? This is really good stuff, man-to-man. Your number 1 guy, Jamo, hit him right there in the chest, first down.
The Dogs with 2 long touchdowns in Atlanta. Williams in motion. Backpedaling. Young gets it to Bolden, but he's not going to get there.
Man, this Georgia defense is just different, and they are just different. They were heat-seeking missiles. Man-to-man, this is so hard to guard against. Even if you are getting some really good pressure in the face of Bryce Young, to sift through all the traffic and stay with your man-to-man assignment. Look at what Scene right here has to see on this play. And Slade Bolden has him by a yard right here. And boom, and now you get him for a negative yardage gain. Ridiculous stuff, man.
Scene! Bennett chased again. Trying to create on the run. Fires.
So as you can see, Georgia offensively did not start this game well at all. And it's 3rd and 9, and this is honestly pretty simple stuff. All right, so you can see that it's a 5-man front, but Alabama basically plays 2-man under. All right, so Brock Bowers is covered. We have leverage right here. Will Anderson is generating a lot of pressure. That is to be expected. And now it's a scramble drill, and all our routes are pretty much being run to the left. So you're in a lot of trouble here. And if you're Bennett, you just got to throw this away. And he does just that.
Need 6. Pressure on the run, the low throw.
Want to know why Georgia eventually won this game defensively? It's because their blitz patterns were so difficult. They did a really good job of disguising everything. This Alabama offensive line was pretty good, and this is just really difficult to sort out. Look at where Bryce is pre-snap. I am never thinking that this guy is blitzing, and he is flying off the edge. Is that Javon Walker? Or who is that? No, it's Quay Walker, right? He's untouched, and it's right in the direction of where we're trying to throw this football. And we're trying to run mesh, and it's zoned behind it, and you're just never really going to get anything done. Man, Billingsley is just such a casual football player, okay? Just kind of throttles down, and either way, that is just better defense.
And they fake it to Bowers. Here's a downfield shot. George Pickens, a diving catch.
Biggest play of this game from Georgia offensively. We are faking the pitch right here to Brock Bowers. All right, anytime you see Brock Bowers in motion with all the reverse touchdowns he scored, it's going to generate a lot of attention. And guess what? This safety is pinned in, and we got George Pickens running a vertical right into this space, and the skinny post is perfectly thrown. Obviously, if it was slightly better, he catches it and runs in. My favorite thing about this catch was his glove sliding off. Okay? That is ridiculous. Little Michael Jackson.
Off rehab, he hasn't been 100%, but when he is, he's dangerous. And now that's the top receiver for Georgia. Last time, ball out quickly. Barton on a slant. Makes a man miss.
So this is a weird transfer portal era game that we have here. Jermaine Burton wins Georgia a national championship and then transfers to Alabama in the offseason. Really good play call, though. Gets some pre-snap motion, and we create a lot of traffic, and we are running a little angle route behind these players. Boom. Stetson hits him right in the chest. It needed to be there for him to pick up the first down.
Single coverage. Bennett tries to get there with his feet, and he'll be...
All right. I actually like this call a lot. It's early in the game. It just gets some points on the board, and this might actually work. The only problem here for Georgia is the worst type of defensive line movement you can run a quarterback draw into is a twist, right? Because if this guy is twisting around, they're not flying upfield. They're able to get eyes on the quarterback, and it makes it that much harder for you to run past an over-penetrating defensive line. It creates this secondary-ish type of wave of defenders. You see Will Anderson's just right here able to play this, all right?
Rest Kirk, that long drive, give him a chance to recover. Trying to get after Young, who launches to Williams, who's wide open down the field.
All right, the biggest, most talked about non-quarterback injury in a big game we've ever seen, right? All right, so Jameson Williams just runs straight through the middle of this defense. Let's see. All right, so you're bringing that same kind of blitz with the Walker off the edge here. Everything gets picked up, and it's just a bust of some sort. You're splitting through here. Okay. JMO catches it and tears his ACL.
40-yard gain, moves the ball to the 35. Young has been pressured a lot, but gets the ball out to Bolton, has been a frequent target, and he gets around the edge for a first down. Last year's championship game, the Heisman winner Devontae Smith had a brilliant first half. Couldn't play the second because of an injury. Off the hands, the ball very quickly, and that's a Jai Hall, the true freshman receiver. Reichart was good earlier from 37.
Your defense is struggling a little bit, but I do not understand why more defensive lines don't do this on third and short, which is a stem, right? A stem essentially is when a defensive lineman moves from one technique to the next. Stemming becomes that much more effective when you do it in unison because it can cause a lot of flinches. It's totally legal as long as you don't go forward and back. Stem creates a little budge right there, and it's a false start. All right. Big play. And it sets up a 3rd and 6. And they're basically trying the same thing. So Jameson Williams is out. So we're trying to generate as much traffic as we possibly can to run an in-breaker behind it. This is a very common red zone and just third down type of play, okay? And, man, look at how hard it is to play quarterback if you're Bryce Young and you are as tiny as he is. Look at how many people are in your face when you have to make this throw. Nobody's open, really, and you just got to make something out of nothing. It's incomplete.
And they need 12 in this third down. And it's a screen. Cook, a lot of work to do. Big job to do in the meantime. Young across the middle. It's caught. And Latu running down the field. Can they track the tight end down to try to punch the ball?
So if you actually watch the game, you begin to realize Bryce Young, this really was an all-timer. Man, this is just so good. Even though this is a tight end versus a corner, I like this matchup, especially with the leverage of where the we can get into if this was actually supposed to be where Ringo is. You can see he had Channing Tindall, number 41, with inside help. So if that's the case, in theory, you would prefer him to be outside Latu here, but Bryce Young sees that, and to really turn this play into a big gain, it needs to be perfectly thrown so we can catch it and then turn upfield. Boom. I mean, you simply can't throw this football any better than where he placed it. And now Latu is able to catch it and run upfield at the same time. Now you're going to get hawked down by a corner every single time.
This time he gets him into the red zone on 2nd and goal. Bryce across the middle.
You want to see why these are two of the best coached teams of all time. Also, you know, they have the best players. We know that. But they put a lot on the plate of their linebackers in particular. So right here, Bryce throws another dot to Latu, and he drops it, all right? And watch what happens. Nakobe Dean destroys Channing Tindall after the play.
Young on the move, backpedaling, and they've got him back to the 20.
So what does Georgia do on third down? Well, they don't actually blitz. They just have a QB spy here, and that could really mess with you, right? If you're thinking that these guys are going to be coming, pause, you think they're going to be blitzing just downhill, but there's two QB spies. And the only way this play really works defensively is if you generate a lot of havoc up the middle, and you can see this pocket is truly collapsed. All right, so Tindall sees that Bryce Young begins to scramble out. There is absolutely no separation whatsoever. And once again, man, I'm just telling you what my eyes see. Billingsley in a national championship game just kind of gives up. All right? Like, it's appalling.
Slant. Mitchell.
The great A.D. Mitchell goes to work. This is where the legend begins. Good throw, good catch on the slant. Obviously, you get a little lucky here that you were down. Ball security can be cleaner, but first down.
Bootleg. Wants to take a shot downfield. Is slammed to the ground.
All right, what happens here? Outside zone, heavy play action fake, and Dallas Turner just makes a play. I mean, this is really hard to protect if you're 59, especially if you have another running back here that'll cut you off. All right, so was there anything open? No, and Dallas Turner was special.
This is the longest field goal attempt of the season, but within his range in his career, and that's a beauty.
Right, there are hustle plays, and then there's this. This is the opposite of Billingsley.
Line of scrimmage. Young across the middle. Catch made. Jai Hall works his way free, and the freshman steps up in the absence of Williams.
All right, so Georgia jumped off sides before this play. It was 3rd and 7, now it's 3rd and 2. And this is Walker right here. And you can see Bryce actually checked into this play. Okay? Running mesh yet again. All right? We're able to get some... actually, there really wasn't much of a traffic situation over the middle with this mesh. Look at where Bryce throws it. Perfect in stride. And Ajayi Hall, this is a former 5-star receiver, once again, character issues throughout his career. He's able to stop on a dime, cut back, and if Walker is not hustling, this is a touchdown. Or at least at the bare minimum 20 extra yards.